Eero Saarinen was a Finnish American architect and industrial designer who immigrated to the U.S. when he was 13. He traveled around the world to learn more about his passions, architecture and design. By his experiments and travels, Saarinen was one of the leaders of American architecture, style, and design during the 20th century. His work isn't just with buildings. Saarinen has designed many landmarks and furniture as well. His work can be recognized by modern and neo-futuristic style. Saarinen was born on August 20th, 1910, in Kirkkonummi, Finland. He grew up in Finland with his family and spent a lot of time with his father, Eero Saarinen. Both of his parents were into architecture, so the passion was genetic. His mother, Eero Saarinen, was a sculptor, photographer, and an architectural model maker. His father was an architect and had his own architect firm. Saarinen also had an older sister, Eva-Liisa. At the age of 13, his family decided to immigrate to the US of A. The year was 1923. They came to Michigan, where most of the Finnish immigrants came, so it was pretty easy to get along with the others. In Michigan, his family lived in Bloomfield Hills, and his father was a teacher at the local art school called Cranbrook Academy of Art. Saarinen took courses there and also got very close friends, for example, Florence Knoll. Later in his life, Saarinen worked together with Knoll to design furniture for her. After 6 years in the USA, Saarinen decided to go to Paris, where he attended one of the finest art schools in France. During his time in Paris, his focus was sculpture. When he was done with his year in Paris, Saarinen came back to the United States and started to study architecture in Yale University in 1930. While studying at Yale, Saarinen won a traveling stipend that he used after his years in Yale to go back to Europe. It was during 1934 to 1935 while he traveled around Europe, and after that he stayed 1 year at Helsinki, Finland, where he worked with Jarl Eklund. Saarinen returned to the United States in 1936 and started to work with his father. He also taught at the Cranbrook Academy, but his main focus was on his father's firm, where he worked with his father and Robert Swanson. For a few years after he started working for his father's firm, in 1939, Saarinen got married with Lily Swan, and he had 2 children with her. This was the time when his architectural career got to the next level. He had always attended to different competition, for example, the Organic Design and Home Furnishings competition in 1940, where he won the first prize with Charles Eames, who he met at the Cranbrook Academy. It was the same year when Saarinen got his U.S. citizenship. During the 1940s, Saarinen mostly worked with his father. They designed many buildings, including the Albert and Muriel Wormuth House in Indiana, the Lincoln Heights Housing in Washington, and the Birmingham High School in Michigan. Saarinen served in the military as an officer of Strategic Resource Service during the years 1942 to 1945. These were only small steps on his career, but in 1943 and 1948, Saarinen took his biggest steps. 1943 was the year when he designed the grasshopper chair for Florence Knoll, which brought him a long 15-year partnership with Knoll. In 1948, Saarinen won the competition for the design of the Jefferson National Expansion Memorial, which became his most famous work. 2 years after he won the competition, in 1950, his father died, and Saarinen decided to start his own architect firm, Eero Saarinen and Associates. This firm built many important things, including the Bell Labs Home Model Complex in Holmdel Township, New Jersey, the Jefferson National Expansion Memorial, including the Gateway Arch in St. Louis, Missouri, the Miller House in Columbus, Indiana, the TWA Flight Center at John F. Kennedy International Airport that Saarinen worked on with Charles J. Paris, and the main terminal of Dulles International Airport near Washington, D.C. In 1953, Saarinen divorced with Lily Swan and married a new woman, Aline Lushain, and they had one son together. During the 1950s, Saarinen had around 25 projects that he worked on. The most famous of these projects were the series of furniture for Knoll Associates, which included the tulip chair, which was the most successful of all his furniture designs. He also worked on the IBM Manufacturing and Training Facility, the TWA Terminal, the IBM Thomas J. Watson Research Center, and the North Christian Church. In 1960, Saarinen was elected a Fellow by the American Academy of Arts and Letters. A year later, on September 1, 1961, Saarinen died after a brain surgery. After his death, Saarinen was posthumously awarded with a gold medal by the American Institute of Architects, and in 2010, Finland pressed a special silver coin for Saarinen. Among his most famous work was the Gateway Arch in St. Louis. He designed it in 1947 for the Jefferson National Expansion Memorial competition with his team that included an associate designer, J. Henderson Barr, a landscape architect, Dan Kiley, a sculptor, Lily Swan Saarinen, and a painter, Alexander Gerard. The arch was constructed between 1963 and 1965. It is 630 feet tall, the tallest monument in the United States, and the tallest stainless steel monument in the world. The arch's legs narrow from 54 feet on the sides to 17 feet on top. The arch is very durable. It is designed to sway up to 18 inches so that earthquakes won't ruin it. The Gateway Arch is open to the public, and it's one of the best tourist attractions in the United States.